Hello everyone, welcome back to Basic Flight Training Qualification. This is mission 4 and we are going to be doing approaches and landings today. And as always with these Maple Flag missions, we are restrained to certain parameters and have to perform them adequately or we are going to get disqualified. So let's get started.
Okay, Cadet. Get your bird in the air and I'll meet you at waypoint 2, Angels 8 at 260 knots.
Alright. Turn our left and right AC generators. Turn on our battery power. Turn on our inverter. We'll do a signal lights check and a bleed air check. Check our fuel status. And we'll go ahead and turn on our oxygen. Do an oxygen check. Okay. And we'll turn on our boost pumps. And we'll flip on our APU. And while our APU is cycling up, we'll tune into Batumi. And I'll set my lights up accordingly. Okay. And I think our APU is up and running. Let's do our AP generator. And we'll turn on our CDU and our Iggy. And make sure our lights are on. Okay. Contact the tower.
Batumi, in field 1-1. Request startup. Enfield 1-1. Batumi, cleared for startup. Wind 240 at 4 meters per second.
Alright, left engine is going. Let's get our SAS switches on. And our countermeasures to standby. Go ahead and turn on KICU, JTARS, and IFSIC. Turn on our MFCDs. Uncage our standby attitude. We'll also start our bit test and reset our accelerometer. Left engine looks like it's up and running. Let's get our right engine up. Alright.
Pull up.
CDU is up. Let's load all on the DTS upload page.
Altitude.
And we'll go ahead and exit out of IFSIC and flip that on for our HUD. And go ahead and switch it to night mode because of the sun glare. Alright. Like DTS is uploaded. Switch this one to CDU. Check our Dismas page. Doesn't look like there's anything on there. And we'll go ahead and get in our TAD. Net ID, own ID 1, group ID 1. That's good. And then I'm going to get rid of these bullseye rings. I don't particularly care for them. So we'll go into controls, change settings, range rings off, save, and bam. Okay. Still waiting on alignment, so we'll do another Signal lights check. And we'll do another bleed air test. And a fuel check. And we'll check our SAS system to the left, to the right, and back again to takeoff trim. I think now we are just waiting for alignment. I'll set our TACAN and our ILS. However, we are not allowed to use them. But in an emergency, I'll have them ready. Check our weight. Like we're about 39,000 pounds. And I know that we need to take off at about 137 knots with 7 degrees of flaps. Almost there. Switch our waypoint to waypoint 2. And we are aligned. Hit our nav button. Hit our IGI. Let us turn off our APU generator. We'll turn off our APU. Turn on our EAC. Turn on our radar altimeter. And we'll get ready to taxi. Go ahead and put nose wheel steering on and request taxi.
Atumi, in field 1-1. Request taxi to runway.
Taxi light on. Flaps to 7 degrees. Flaps are set to MVR.
Clear to taxi to runway 31.
Speed brakes closed. Ejection seat armed. Go ahead and switch our position lights to steady. And our anti-collision lights on. Stop short of the runway here and request takeoff.
Atumi, in field 1-1. Request
Landing
takeoff.
light on.
Enfield 1-1. Atumi, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.89.
I'm going to set my barometer to 2989. Alright, flaps at 7 degrees, lights are on, APU is off, anti-skid is on, ejection seat armed, pitot heat on. We are ready to roll. Brakes on, let's ramp it to 90%. Brakes off. Going back on the throttle, and we are airborne. Gear up. Flaps up. And let's bank to waypoint 2.
Our rendezvous is at waypoint 2, Angels 8 at 260 knots. The hard deck limit is in effect. Do not go below Angels 5 unless the restriction is terminated. Let's review some important things about approaches and landings. The initial approach fix, IAF, is the point you start your approach, arriving at this point from vectors provided by the A10c. This is usually 10 nautical miles from the runway threshold.
Alright, approaching Angel 7.
The final approach fix is when you should be ready to land with checklist complete and gear and flaps down. This is usually 5 nautical miles from the runway threshold. At the minimum descent altitude, you must have visual contact with the runway. If no visual at the missed approach point, execute a missed approach. The MDA is usually 500 feet, and the map is usually 1.5 nautical miles from the runway threshold.
Should be making a left turn here shortly.
Okay, cadet, your performance check starts now. Fly heading 260, Angels 8 at 260 knots. Good. Maintain 260, Angels 8 at 260 knots. We will be using Batumi for this PO. Contact the tower to get an approach vector.
Alright, let's contact Batumi. Call inbound.
Batumi, Enfield 1-1, inbound. Enfield 1-1, Batumi, fly heading 204, Fort 10, QFE 29.89, runway 13, to pattern altitude.
Turn left towards the initial approach fix and make your descent to the pattern altitude. Enter the pattern when ready and maintain 230 knots. The hard deck restriction is terminated.
Alright, slow down a little bit.
Good. Maintain the pattern altitude.
Alright, we are at 2500, 230 knots, heading about 202.
You're at the initial approach fix. Turn left towards the runway. Good.
Right.
Maintain 120 to touchdown.
Now I always have trouble with the glide slope.
Make your descent to the final approach fix, and don't forget to complete your checklist.
Alright, so we've got 9.5 nautical miles out. We are going to get flaps and gear down as we hit 5 nautical miles. We'll try and maintain this glide slope. Keep her trimmed. We need to lose some airspeed here.
Enfield 1-1. Cleared for visual. Contact tower.
Okay, gear down.
You're at the final approach fix.
Flaps down.
Atumi, infield 1-1. Request landing.
Enfield 1-1. Batumi, cleared to land. Runway 13. Wind 240 at 4 meters
Good.
per second.
You've lowered your flaps and gear at an appropriate time.
Get straightened out just a touch. Get that trim going.
You are above the glide path.
Of course.
Altitude, altitude.
Your speed is high for the approach. You're at the missed approach point. Try and land in the distance between the vehicles marked on the left. This is as per Air Force specs. Good! You hit the required touchdown point. Now perform an immediate missed approach and climb to Angel 7.
Gear and flaps up.
Fly heading 120 Angel 7 at 260 knots. The reason we practice missed approaches or aborted landings is in case something shows up on the runway unexpectedly. Could be airport personnel, a vehicle, or an animal.
Approaching Angels 4.
The hard deck limit is in effect. Do not go below Angels 5 unless the restriction is terminated.
Passing Angels 6. Oh, there goes our flight element lead. And we'll level off here at Angel 7.
Good. Maintain 120 Angel 7 at 260 knots. Now make a left turn to heading 040, maintain Angel 7 at 260 knots. Good. Maintain 040, Angel 7 at 260 knots.
Alright, we're on course. Making a left turn shortly.
Now make a left turn to heading 300. Maintain Angel 7 at 260 knots. Good. Maintain 300 Angel 7 at 260 knots. VFR does not mean very few rules. It does mean see and be seen. You need to keep your head out of the cockpit and on a swivel. Once you master the bird in VFR, then you can learn IFR, instrument flight rules, and all the rules and procedures there.
Here's Batumi. Just waiting for our next instruction.
Contact Batumi to get an approach vector.
Batumi, in field 1-1, inbound.
Enfield 1-1. Batumi, fly heading 258. Fort 12. QFE 29.89. Runway 13 to pattern altitude.
Turn left towards the initial approach fix and make your descent to the pattern altitude. Enter the pattern when ready and maintain 230 knots. The hard deck restriction is terminated.
Lower our speed.
You have a beautiful day for flying, cadet.
And lower our throttle and our speed by using both the throttle and the air brakes.
Good. Maintain the pattern altitude.
Waiting for our turn in.
You're at the initial approach fix. Turn left towards the runway. Fly heading 120 to touchdown.
That sounds a little close. We're 12 miles out still.
Maintain the pattern altitude.
Whoop. Guess we shouldn't start our approach yet.
Make your descent to the final approach fix, and don't forget to complete your checklist.
Five nautical miles, we'll put down our gear and flaps.
Enfield 1-1, cleared for visual, contact tower.
Atumi, Enfield 1-1, request landing.
Enfield 1-1, Atumi, cleared to land, runway 13.
Gear down.
Wind 240 at 4 meters per second.
Flaps down.
Good. You've lowered your flaps and gear at an appropriate time.
Altitude, altitude.
You are above the glide path.
I don't think those PAPI lights are functioning properly. If I'm above, it should be all white.
Your speed is high for the approach.
A little bit of flare.
Good. You hit the required touchdown point. Taxi to the parking area.
Speed brakes on. Wheel brakes on. Little bit of rudder pedal to get us straightened out. Nozzle steering on. Speed brakes are closed, flaps up, anti-skid switch off.
Enfield 1-1, taxi to parking area.
Good. Maintain 120 to touchdown.
Alright, let's finish our after landing checklist. Landing light switch to taxi light. TGP is off. Ejection seat safe. Countermeasure system off. Pitot heat off. Position lights to flashing and anti-collision lights off. Okay, let's taxi into next to the tanker.
You can park beside the tanker. You have 2 minutes to complete your shutdown procedure.
Alright. Shutdown procedure. Taxi light off. Rosewell steering off. Attitude indicator caged. Master arm off. Gun pack off. Laser off. TGP off. Kick U off. JTARS off. IFSIC off. MFCDs off. Iggy off. CDU off. Left throttle down. Right throttle off. And we'll go ahead and open our canopy. And left generator, right generator off. Inverter and battery off. Holding ladder deployed. Oxygen off. Pitot heat off. TACAN off. ILS off. Radios are off. Boost pumps.
Shutdown looks good. We will end our flight here. You made it, cadet. You passed this PO. You received a qualified minus rating. Work on your maneuvers to improve your skills. It may save your life. Return to Batumi for the next qualification mission.
Alright, we passed the approach and landing mission. Again with a Q minus. I think I'm struggling with the approach glide path. I'm having trouble following it down visually, and I get a little too close and a little too high as I'm not able to read those PAPI lights properly, or they are not working properly here at Batumi. Anyway, thank you for watching. We successfully passed another Basic Flight Training Qualification. Join us next time for Mission 5, which will be Basic Maneuvers. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.